Listen, it's about River State, the sole administrator. You know what I'm saying? Where this whole thing you start, I talk and say Fubara was removed. Some of them say, no, don't use the word removed. Yeah, it was suspended. I said no from day one. I said Fubara have been removed. You know, you should be able to visualize the mission of these people at that particular move then. Now, the sole administrator, when he come like this now it come. But now, the sole administrator is now walking like this, taking decision, destroying everywhere. Now, you don't scatter the local government committee or whatever, chairman now, you don't put your own people there. And Tinubu not talk for this matter. What did Tinubu tell us? Say, Fubara was suspended. Right? Oh, we have concise River State people. We don't come talk for this matter. I'm going to be playing 2 videos for you. I want you to start with this one. Let's listen to this.
Well, on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the influential River State cultural, political, and environmental commentator and human rights activist, Ann Kio Briggs. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you very much, Charles, for having me. Good evening.
Good evening to you. What are the concerns that you have about these latest moves by the sole administrator, who, we understand in defiance of a court order, is now not only appointing administrators for the local councils, but also members of the Electoral Commission and charging them with conducting local government elections?
It is not, for Rivers people right now, today, as I speak to you in Abuja this evening, it is no longer an issue for us of what do we think he is doing. We know what he is doing now. It's very clear what he is doing. He's biased. Very clearly, his emergence is in question, has been since he emerged. The circumstances under which he emerged, when the president addressed the nation and told us that he was declaring a state of emergency in Rivers State, was very clear that there was insecurity in Rivers State. There was no insecurity in Rivers State. The president has been grossly misinformed through no fault of his own. He was misinformed by personal interest and personal political and economic and power interest in Rivers State. Now the question we are asking ourselves is that at what point are we going to feel that our back is against the wall and that there has to be a pushback, that the people of Rivers State have to be able to say to the president, Mr. President, we need to speak with you. You need to talk to us. We are the people. We are the people who are suffering the misinformation. Now, if we accept that Ibas was called out of retirement and sent to Rivers State to keep the peace, he is very far away from keeping the peace. As a matter of fact, what he's doing is pouring petrol on a fire that the president may have thought is simmering. He set it ablaze. Rivers State is on fire right now as we speak, in the sense of the anger that the people of Rivers State feel. If we recall, in May 2024, the Attorney General, the Minister for Justice, filed a lawsuit against the state governments, all the 36 state governments, for violating the Constitution of Nigeria when it comes to the local government area administration. And the Supreme Court declared then that it was unconstitutional for state governors to withhold funds of local government or dissolve local government area council or to appoint caretaker committees, which has been done over the years. And at that point, River State Governor Fubara had already appointed caretaker committees, which he immediately pulled back. So an election was held. The PDP, the political party that the River State governor belongs to, and the people of River State have voted out of choice did not partake in the election of the local government. Another party, an elephant party or something like that, partook, and they won majority, about 22 of the local government seats. And the River State government ended up in Abuja in front of the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court gave a judgment on the 28th of February that addressed an issue that they had no business addressing, because it was already a case in the lower court in Rivers State, which was, did the 27 lawmakers leave their constituents naked by abandoning them and crossing over to APC or not? That case had not been resolved when the Supreme Court took it upon itself to make a decision on it. Well, it's the Supreme Court, there is no other place to go, we're told, even though we feel that it could be addressed, at least we could ask for interpretation of it. But Sim Fobra decided that he would obey that Supreme Court judgment. You are aware that PANDEF at that time also, within that period of time, also went in.
That's the Pan-Niger Delta Forum.
Yes, also went in to meet with the president. The major issue was the River State issue, among so many other issues that affect the Niger Delta. And I was one of the delegates at that meeting with the president. And we met with him on the Tuesday, and on the Monday, Fobra was suspended. So there is already that feeling amongst Rivers people that already the idea, the concept to suspend Governor Fobra was already on the table.
You said you met him on a Tuesday.
We did.
Yeah, and
and then he was suspended on the Monday, following the Tuesday, which is almost
the subsequent
a week.
Monday,
yes, the subsequent Monday. And so these are all the things that have boggled our minds now. Ibas, with no disrespect attached, but he is for us the so-called administrator of River State. Now, he was sent there, if we play back what the president said, to keep peace. He has done anything but keep the peace. As a matter of fact, he came in and fired the structure that he met. He is supposed to work with the structure that he met. He is not elected to govern Rivers State.
Right. So let me ask you this, based on that. How much panic and anxiety is that apparent doubling down on his part causing in Rivers State? Because I would imagine there's grave concern about what all this is going to mean in the medium to long term for Rivers State, and about what the end game is.
Well, there is serious concern. I can take the responsibility for that and say that to you as a Rivers daughter, that there is serious concern, because this is the sort of thing that will explode. You will not be able to control it. I've been in Abuja for a couple of days for some meetings, and within this yesterday, while I was in the meeting, my phone wasn't ringing off the hook because it was on silent, but the lights were flashing because I was receiving messages. And when I was looking at the messages, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, that he had appointed local government chairman. Now, he is an illegal, the administrator.
Well, he had appointed local government
administrators. He had appointed local government administrators.
To act as chairman.
To act as chairman. He has no such right constitutionally. The Constitution does not give him those rights. I do not believe that President Tinubu asked him, when you get to Rivers State, dismantle what you find there and agitate the people of Rivers State. He is not neutral. He is working a script. He is playing out a script. And I mean, we all know what script he is playing out. But this is dangerous.
What script
the
might
point,
that be?
The script he is playing out is the script of Nyesom Wike. Because the people that are being appointed right now, as I speak to you, being removed are people that Fobra put there. The people that Ibas, is bringing in are majorly Wike's people. It doesn't take a brain surgeon, neither does it take an
Well, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It is
basically.
a disaster.
Let me ask you this. Is there any sign at all that the sole administrator is making any moves towards engaging in peace negotiations to resolve the impasse and restore Rivers State to some kind of democratic normality?
First of all, he does not have the ability. He has demonstrated that because he is one-sided. He does not have the ability. And quite honestly, we don't want him to play that role.
Is there anything stopping you from reaching out to Fubara and to Nyesom Wike, bringing them together and then going to the president to say, we've reconciled the people, take your sole administrator away?
It's kind of almost ridiculous, if it is not annoying, that you can say to a people, a group of people like Pandef, the people that Wike referred to as the people that you cannot trust, that is his reference to people like Dieter Spieth, people like former governor of Akwa Ibom State, who was a governor when the present president was also a governor of Lagos State. Now, you can't tell me to go back home and find peace, be part of the process, which is what he said to us, to find peace in our state, and a few days later appoint a sole administrator to Rivers State.
Yeah, it undermines confidence.
It undermined what you told us to go and do.
Certainly.
So it said to us that you've already pulled the rug from under our feet.
Right. What do you know about how Governor Sim Fubara and his supporters are dealing with this, let me call it, abnormality in what essentially is their political turf?
Well, I keep coming back to the word anger. Let's not underplay, because it is anger and frustration that will lead people to kind of like, in a moment, without thinking, do and feel and say something that ordinarily would not be their way of reacting.
But of course, it's not just one
thing. But
right.
It's not just one thing.
It's not just one side.
I
mean, I'm wondering if there's any indication about what is happening in the local camp of Minister Nyesom Wike, local to Rivers.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Because
yes.
It's not just the Fubara side.
Well, you see, unfortunately, Rivers State now is divided, whether we like it or not.
What happens? And I have to point out again that because we try to be a very balanced television network, the sole administrator or his representative is welcome to come to Arise and give us his side of the story and give us a right of reply. I'm sure people like you would actually be quite happy to hear from him.
Absolutely.
And get a sense of why things are the way they are.
Why he's actually doing what he's doing. You know?
It's great to see you.
Thank you very much.
And this morning, the headline on Daily Trust is that is Governor Zulum acknowledging that Boko Haram is gaining grounds in Borno State.
Yes.
The Shehu of Borno said Boko Haram is now in control of 3 local government areas. If the president were to declare a state of emergency there, it is because he wants to restore order, not to suspend the president. No, I mean not to suspend the governor. And then the governor who is elected has the political responsibility. Political power is very important. It comes only by the ballot box. And to take consequential decisions like appointment of, chairman of boards and all that, I mean, it's an aberration of the highest order.
So how does this render the appointments made by the sole administrator? He has 6 months to go.
The sole administrator is on a mission of confusion to exacerbate the troubling situation in Rivers State. And the president knows it now. And the sole administrator thinks like a military man. I mean, there was really nothing that stopped the president for asking to ask the chief of defense staff to move his men there to restore order. And then one can understand, because chief of defense staff or any of the service chiefs, they have constitutional authority. But for goodness sake, a civilian from another state, I mean, from nowhere, and this is an appointment as sole administrator, and then he begins to take political decisions, further annoying the people, creating the crisis in Rivers State.
Now, these appointments now and other decisions taken by the sole administrator, including, of course, the disbursement of funds, people are asking, are we sure that Fubara will come back after the 6-month tenure of this sole
Fubara is still...
If that's not, what happens then?
No. I think we shouldn't be unnecessarily preemptive. And
okay.
let's take it as a matter of fact. Fubara is the governor of Rivers State. The president is on a pathway of disregard,
but there are reports that his photographs have been taken away from,
I mean,
vital,
so this, and I want us to face this. President Tinubu must agree and understand that he has the same powers of an executive president, just like the governor, because these powers are derivable from the Constitution. If the Constitution says, do not take over or govern any part of this federation except according to the provisions of the Constitution, Mr. President, would you want your powers also to be limited in any way with your regards to your powers to govern this federation? You don't do that to a governor. And I will put my life on the line if anybody tries to, reduce the power of the president or take over the powers of the president against the provisions of the Constitution. I will do that for President Tinubu. Therefore, President Tinubu cannot sit as president under the powers of this Constitution and take away the powers of an elected governor. And everybody, with all of these people advising, everybody's quiet. The only persons who are supposed to be in the National Assembly, look, we are in a republic, right. And that means that we don't have to go to the streets. That's why we elected people into the parliament. They are supposed to call the president to order. Now they are going to the Supreme Court. What will the Supreme Court say? And then the Supreme Court will state, as it is, it now has a new posture of now washing his hands off political matters. So the president will say, the Supreme Court will tell them and say, look, it's a matter for the National Assembly to decide, to delimit your powers when it has to do with state of emergency. For goodness sake, President Tinubu knows the right thing to do.
What is that right thing?
The right thing is that do not appoint a sole administrator. It is unknown. It's an aberration. Sack him today. Restore the governor to his place. Tell the chief of defense staff to take necessary measures and restore whatever peace you want in Rivers State. The same thing you need to do in Borno State and the rest of this country that is seriously on the tenterhooks and teetering on terrible insecurity. We have an existential problem, and you don't exacerbate it by disregarding openly the provisions of the Constitution. President Tinubu was told the right path, and it's the path according to law.
We have to leave it there.
Now, don't hear the plight of the woman and the plight of the Arise representative. Now, don't hear the both. So when we talk, some of our wonderful Rivers State people from NAIJA, they talk and say, nothing go happen. Wike cannot do anything. This is that, blah, blah, blah. I tell you, this satanic Wike can do something because they rule Nigeria. And they say that. Even when they suspend, some of us still talk for the platform say, oh, now only suspension. Now this. I said, no, Fubara was removed. Fubara have been removed. Fubara cannot come back again. And the sad part of it now is that the Rivers State people are silent. And this one I will still tell Edo people say, we do try. When Oshomole they do gabu for Obaseki that time, all of us come and say, nothing they happen. Even Oshomole was the national chairman of Satanic APC at that time. Edo people tell them, say, nothing they happen. You are not going anywhere. Everybody support Obaseki. He comes for the second time. Although a lot of us regretted him. Yes, that decision at that time, because all of them are still satanic and swimming in satanism. Now, Rivers State people, what do now they do now? What is your responsibility with this obvious oppression, suppression, and intimidation? What do I know? This is NAIJA Watch Media. Join us every day, 7 p.m. Nigerian time on our live broadcast. Let's continue to talk about the things that's affecting you and I. Take care and bye for now.